Good afternoon, YouTube. How you doing? I'm going to talk about my Ancestry DNA results, which I took in March 2016. I know it was a long time ago. We're now coming to the end of 17, but hey, I decided to post it now. Before I took the test, I was watching hundreds of videos. Didn't matter if they were black, white, Hispanic, Asian. I watched literally hundreds of videos on YouTube. Hundreds of videos, just to see what they were saying about their results, the procedure, which is very simple. Anyone could do that. Where they came from, and the number one thing, how they reacted. I wanted to see their reaction to a lot of people, because you got a lot of Hispanics who got African DNA. You had a few white people who had African DNA. It's all mixed up. A lot of Caribbean people, American people had European DNA, and people's reactions were totally different. Totally different. Little backstory about me. I'm born in the UK, England and the UK. My parents are from St Andrews, which is in Jamaica in the Caribbean. So obviously, talk about Jamaica briefly. Jamaica's 85, 90% African DNA, with very, very few native Tainos, Caribs, Arabs, very few South Asian, Indians, a few, you've got thousands there, Chinese, obviously Europeans, Germans, English, everything. Syrians, believe it or not, Middle East. Jamaica's is no melting pot, proper melting pot. I've been there a few times, and yeah, as soon as you go there, especially around St Andrews, Kingston area, you see it's very, very mixed. But anyway, my results, my DNA, no surprise at all. I wasn't surprised. This is what I expected. Actually, I'll tell you what I predicted before. I thought I was going to be 85% African, 10% European, and 5% South Asian, being India. The reason being I thought I had that in my DNA is because I was told of a family member, a great-grandfather, who came from Barbados and moved to Jamaica. He was apparently half African descent and half Indian. So I thought, if I have that in me, it'll be 3, 4, 5%. That's why I put the 5%. So I wasn't far wrong, to be fair, because my results were 90% African DNA from the continent of Africa, 10% from the continent of where I was born and bred, Europe. And I'll start with Africa, obviously, because it's 90%. Highest region in Africa for me was the Cameroon and Congo, 30%. I'm not surprised. I've had a lot of people saying to me, Chris, you look like you're from the Congo. Over the years, people have said you look like you're from the Congo, you look like you're from Angola, you look like you're from Ghana. I've had so many nice compliments. I like hearing that. Because if you look at me, what else am I going to look like apart from African? I'm not going to look like anything else. That's what I'm going to be. So when I say those countries where I know my forebase came from, it makes sense because all of that is in my DNA. But anyway, 27% I was Ivory Coast, Ghana. Big up Ghana. I got a good Ghanaian friend. He knows who he is. Good friend of mine. 16% goes to Mali. I had Mali. I'm 60% Malayan DNA. Mansa Musa, the richest man who ever lived, come from Mali, the Kingdom of Mali. That was in my DNA. I had 9% coming from Nigeria. The most populous black country in the world is Nigeria. 5% of my DNA came from Benin and Togo. Benin and Togo. I think Benin is the home of voodoo, which makes a lot of sense. Voodoo. Trace regions for Africa, not very much, but I had 2% from Senegal. Senegal was right on the northwest coast. But is it me? When I watch these videos, is it me? Please tell me. When I watch Senegal, when I see Senegal, a lot of people have very, very little Senegalese DNA. It's like 1, 2, 3%. I've never yet seen somebody have 25% or 20% or 15% Senegalese DNA. It's always very small. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Not many people have more than 15% Senegalese DNA. And my last African country was North Africa. So Morocco, Libya, Algeria, less than 1%. Remember, less than 1% is 0.5. You got 1%, 2%, 3%, etc. If you have less than 1%, it means there's 0.5 on the Ancestry DNA, on the scale. My European DNA, which is obviously 10%, highest region to lowest, 6 regions. My number one region was Iberian Peninsula. It makes a lot of sense. Portuguese apparently started off the transatlantic slave trade, importing slaves from West Africa to the Americas. So Spain, Portugal is Iberian Peninsula. In Jamaica, there's a place called Spanish Town, so it's quite obvious. 2% of my DNA is from Great Britain, place where I was born and bred. Great Britain. If you watch these ancestry results, a lot of black people have Great Britain in their DNA. A lot. It's amazing. I also had 2% from Scandinavia, Vikings, but I think that was just the Vikings doing what they done. You know what they done, all over, especially over Scotland and Northern England. I think it might come through Great Britain, to be fair. So my Scandinavian DNA is through Great Britain, I think. I'm assuming. Although I have got a match from a lady who's Norwegian, on here, believe it or not. I got 1% from Italy, Greece, 1% from Europe West, which is France, Germany. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of French, Germans went all over the world. And I have less than 1% Irish DNA. Irish, my surname apparently comes from Ireland, Southern Ireland, so, you know. But like I was saying earlier, you, I've got, I thought I had Southern Asian or Indian DNA. Zero. So what I done, I clicked on South Asia, and guess what showed up? A little bit of DNA. The bar moved slightly. It wasn't zero as zero, nothing there. It actually moved a little bit. So I had a little bit of South Asian. Not necessarily India, because it covers a vast area. It could be Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar, loads of areas. But I'm assuming if I did have a great grandfather who came from Barbados and he was half Indian, that, you know, that could be what I saw when I looked on the screen. Anyway, thank you. There's my results. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.